Biden, Russia threatens not only Ukraine, but also the modern international order. President Joe Biden issued a statement on the UN Security Council meeting on the situation around Ukraine. Today at the UN Security Council, the United States has described in detail the nature of the Russian threat to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, Biden said. And we explained to the international community all the implications of that threat not only to Ukraine, but also to the basic principles of the UN Charter and the modern international order. If Russia is sincere about addressing the security issues on both sides through dialogue, then the United States, our allies and partners will continue to engage in good faith. If Russia chooses instead to abandon diplomacy and attack Ukraine, it will be held accountable and face swift and serious consequences, the president warned. The United States and our allies and partners continue to prepare for any scenario. The world must have a clear understanding of the actions Russia threatens and be prepared to respond to the risks these actions pose to all of us. Today's Security Council meeting is an important step toward rallying the world around a common position, condemning the use of force, calling for military de-escalation, supporting diplomacy as the best way forward, and demanding that each member state take a responsible approach and not engage in military aggression against its neighbors, Biden said. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Russia's actions are a threat to international peace. UN Security Council meeting on Russian threat to Ukraine convened at U.S. initiative. The UN Security Council is scheduled to meet on Monday to discuss Russia's troop buildup near Ukraine's borders and Moscow's threatening actions against the country. The meeting was called at the initiative of the United States. U.S. Permanent Representative to the United States. Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield stressed that the situation in Europe was dangerous and required an immediate response because of the risks posed by Russia's aggressive, destabilizing behavior. She urged Security Council members to consider not only Moscow's statements, but also its actions. Thomas-Greenfield also expressed hope that Russia would choose diplomacy over conflict. Russian Permanent Representative to the United Nations Vasily Nebenzia called on Security Council members to vote against the meeting, calling the initiative megaphone diplomacy and interference in Russia's internal affairs. To block the meeting, Russia would need the support of 9 of the 15 members. The Council is expected to hear from a senior UN official at the beginning of the meeting, after which all 15 Council members, including Russia, the US and the European members of the Council, France, Ireland, Britain and Albania, will make statements. According to the rules of the Council, the Ukrainian representative will also be given the floor. As Thomas-Greenfield emphasized in announcing the upcoming meeting, Russia's actions constitute a clear threat to international peace and security and the UN Charter. Council members must carefully examine the facts and consider what is at stake for Ukraine, Russia, Europe, and the basic obligations and principles of the international order in the event of a further Russian invasion of Ukraine, she said. The United States is preparing sanctions against the Russian elite in case Russia invades Ukraine. The list includes people close to the Kremlin and their relatives. The United States and its allies have prepared a list of Russian elites close to Russian President Vladimir Putin to impose economic sanctions on them in case Russia invades Ukraine, a senior U.S. administration official said Monday. The individuals we have identified are within or close to Kremlin inner circles and play a role in government decision-making or, at a minimum, are involved in the Kremlin's destabilizing behavior, the source said on condition of anonymity. According to him, the United States has developed special sanctions packages both for members of Russian elites who meet the criteria and for their relatives. It is also reported that these efforts are being conducted in coordination with U.S. allies and partners. Sanctions on Russian oligarchs are only part of the retaliatory measures that the U.S. and its allies are preparing in case of a Russian invasion of Ukraine. President Joe Biden allowed for the possibility of sanctions against Putin personally. Earlier, U.S. officials spoke about other planned measures, including sanctions against Russian financial institutions and export control measures. The source declined to give the names of Russians who may be subject to sanctions. There is a broad list of individuals from which we can draw, the source said, noting that some names would be drawn from a classified list of high-ranking Russian political figures and oligarchs that was prepared under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. According to the source, many of the alleged figures on the sanctions list are particularly vulnerable because of their close financial ties to the West. Putin's cronies will no longer be able to use their spouses or other relatives to evade sanctions. The sanctions will deny them access to the international financial system and ensure that they and their family members can no longer keep their money in the West or study at elite Western universities, the source added.